Before colonization, before borders, before foreign religions arrived, Africa was a world of divine kingdoms, ancient universities, sacred sciences, and spiritual systems older than the pyramids themselves. Most of this history has been buried, rewritten, or simply never taught. But what did Africa really look like before colonization? What did Africans believe? And how did spirituality shape some of the greatest civilizations the world has ever seen? Today, we uncover the forgotten truth. African spirituality is not a religion, it is a way of life, rooted in balance, nature, ancestors, and the understanding that the universe is alive. Core principles. 1. Creator. Nearly all African systems believed in a supreme being, known as Olodumare Nyame Mungu Amma, or simply the Creator. Ancestors, not worshipped, but honored as guides who supported the living, nature as sacred. Rivers, forests, mountains, and animals were not just resources, they were spiritual beings, community over individuality. Spirituality existed to preserve harmony within the group. So, this worldview produced societies with really strong morals, deep wisdom, and honestly social systems where crime was pretty rare and community support was everything. Long before colonization, Africa gave birth to civilizations that, shaped the world. Kemet, or ancient Egypt, was the world's first large-scale nation-state, featuring advanced mathematics, medicine and surgery, and architecture that still, even today, sort of defies explanation. Their spirituality was centered on Ma'at, truth, justice, and harmony. Nubia and Kush, these were the lands of the Black Pharaohs, pyramid builders, and iron workers. Their gods and spiritual rituals influenced Egypt long before Egypt became powerful. And then there's Axum, one of the world's earliest Christian civilizations, famously home to the legends of the Ark of the Covenant. So, Mali and Songhai, these were empires where Islamic scholarship blended seamlessly with African tradition. Timbuktu's universities, for instance, held over 700,000 manuscripts on topics like science, astronomy, law, and philosophy. And then there's Great Zimbabwe. Those master architects built a massive stone city, without even using mortar, guided by spiritual geometry. Africa was not a continent of tribes, it was a continent of nations, empires, scientists, philosophers, and spiritual teachers. African spirituality was, honestly, deeply scientific. Take astronomy. Dogon priests charted stars that, get this, modern telescopes couldn't even see. Egyptians aligned their pyramids with Orion and Sirius. And in medicine, herbal doctors performed surgeries, bone setting, and wrote medical texts long before Europe did. So, psychology in traditional African societies, was deeply connected to rituals, music, and rhythm. These elements were actually used for healing emotional and mental imbalances. When it comes to environmental knowledge, Africans managed forest soil and water in ways that kept entire ecosystems alive for thousands of years. In Africa, science and spirituality were never really separated. One explained the other. Pre-colonial Africa, it was structured around community, family, and collective responsibility. Elders were considered the library of the community, holding vast amounts of wisdom and experience. Councils, not just kings alone, were the ones making important decisions. And women, they held major political and spiritual power. Wealth was shared, not hoarded. Land belonged to the people, not to individuals. This balance, honestly, created societies where wealth inequality was small, famine was rare, and social bonds were incredibly strong. Colonization attacked three things first: spiritual systems, languages, and education. Why? Because these were the foundations of African identity and civilization. Missionaries replaced gods, schools replaced history, borders replaced kingdoms, and, slowly, Africa was told to forget what it once was. But today, Africa's spiritual traditions are rising again. The old kingdoms are being researched, the manuscripts of Timbuktu are being restored, and millions are reconnecting with the truth that Ajerbar Barkin by Durham. Africa was never a dark continent, It was, honestly, a continent of light, knowledge, and divine power. If you're ready to explore more hidden African history, subscribe, and let's bring these stories back to life together.